the backstretch at Saratoga. This is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pannell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth, Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino, and not that this is Groundhog Day, but another beautiful morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy if it's Groundhog Day. Although that said, it was the wackiest weather yesterday. I mean, it was really nice back here, but by the time I got over on the front side, it had gotten really steamy again. And then during the afternoon, we had some intermittent rain showers, some heavy rain showers, but it was, again, one of those situations where it was heavy rain with the sun blazing, and that wound up, and then that humidity kicked up again. So it was funny, the last two races, because the rain knocked off the turf yesterday. So, yeah, it was a funny day weather-wise.
I think the only main track condition we missed was muddy. We had fast early, then we had good, then we ended up having sloppy. We had firm, and we had good on the turf courses. Remember, the rails were set at 18 feet on both of them, a new setting yesterday. And, it's just what we here from time to time are used to with our weather patterns. Just, we could kind of feel it in the morning. And I think the first thought would be like maybe the first rain would come, later in the day. They kept some of the MTOs in the late races, etc.
Early, I thought they were talking 4 o'clock or so.
Yeah, they're going to get
It came down pretty good before the second race.
Yeah, so that was, it just happens, part of the game. Greatest game of the
world.
Let
me tip my cap to our colleague Andy Serling. Andy Serling yesterday had one of those days. He hit the last 7 races. That's a very good day, including the 2 off the turfers. Now, that would include a cold pick 6. But unfortunately, with the weather condition, he took the worst of that because they didn't announce the changes in the last 2 until after the sequence had started. So those 2 became all. So unfortunately, it was only a $90 pick 6 that he hit cold. But regardless, that was a great day. And if Andy's watching, congratulations. I know he used to watch regularly because during the shows I would get texts. But now I don't know so much because the last few years, because of the Fox show, it's hard to get some of those guys over here because they do a pre-production meeting at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So again, I'm not sure Andy's watching. How about that pre-production meeting? We kind of had one today.
We have them. You're just not here for them too often. But no. Every time I see July 29th, does anything ever just always hit you?
It does not.
It does not. Would have been the 41st anniversary of Chuck and Die.
Oh.
Now, the only reason I remember was it was opening day of the 1981 meet on a Wednesday, and my high school sweetheart somewhat demanded that I come and watch this wedding thing.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm far more interested in Woody Stevens' 2-year-old filly Trove than I am Chuck and Diane.
That was not going to hit my radar.
No.
I mean, that quiz could have gone out all day.
Okay.
I never would have come up with that.
So, but the funny thing always is a wedding on Wednesday, and all I care about is the track. And I think Trove was the chalk. I think she ran 3rd. She ended up being a better turf filly for the Woodman than on the dirt, but. Opening day 1981.
Speaking of Woody
Wednesday,
Stevens,
July 29th.
I said to you last night, you can go catch it on YouTube. I was happy to be on with Howard Kravitz, who I had on the show last week. He does the HHH Racing podcast, and I was on with Howard and partners last night, and we looked at the Saturday card. So you can check that out on YouTube or other spots that podcasts are available. Had a lot of fun. Really appreciated them inviting me. But we did some questions at the top, and we were talking about the question might have been your favorite racing event that you were at live. And for me, and they were like, wow, I've never been to the Derby. I unfortunately haven't been to the Breeders' Cup. You've been to some out at Del Mar, and those are on the list, certainly. But for me, then, it was General Assembly breaking the track record in the Travers that stood for a long time. And I said last night, I can't think, I had the Woody Stevens horse that ran second and had been winning some second-level derbies, and last night I couldn't think, but as we were talking, you mentioned Woody now. It was Smart, who ran incredibly, but just not as well as General Assembly that day.
I think Private Account ran third.
I don't remember.
Reminded
I was just like, oh, because it was whatever, maybe 10 lengths from General Assembly to Smartin, and then another 10 back to the net. So Smartin ran well, just not well enough.
Reminded me like the 3 Mudmark horses, and then in '87, the first time they ran it for $1 million, the Superfecta, which we didn't have, but the first 4 runners all were the Mudmark horses. They beat Ali Shiva and Bet twice. And other than Java Gold, you might have thought, well, maybe the mud helped in that day, but. I think the record General Assembly had broken was only like 3 years old. Honest Pleasures. I think he went 2 minutes and a fifth in the Travers, and then General Assembly. What did he win by 15?
It was a wide margin, and then as I say, second and third was
another gap.
Yeah.
Who was the chalk in the race?
Was it Philly? Right?
Yeah.
She was the Dale.
Yeah, she was Philly. She was the favorite in the Alabama and got beat by It's in the Air. Then she was the favorite in the Travers. Who would have thought, Seth, come back 7 days later and run another Grade 1? But that was Devona Dale beating chalk in both the Alabama and Travers. I don't know that we'll see that again. Because even if Ness runs in it, she was not the beaten favorite. She was the winning favorite in the Alabama. And there'll be far more... see if she comes back. Oh, that's
Speaking of Ness, yesterday in Racing Across America, we missed Mike Rapoli.
We did.
He had something come up, and so we missed him, but he's back today. So we'll look for Mike Rapoli on Racing Across America. We will also have a visit with Gary Siaka. Guys from the Saratoga Special will come over. And yesterday I went over and did a little interview in the jockey's room with Johnny Velasquez. Because they have PDJF awareness. I think it may be the whole weekend, but it's certainly tomorrow at the track. You should be aware, and Johnny will talk a little bit about it, but an autograph session, 11 to 12:30 tomorrow out by the Jockey Silks Room. All the jockeys will be available, so bring some memorabilia, make a donation to the PDJF. Sunday night, it's karaoke across the street with the jockeys. That should be a lot of fun, but also talk to Johnny. He's got a horse in the Curlin, so we talked about that. And then tomorrow he's on Country Grammar, the Dubai World Cup winner in the San Diego out at Del Mar. So all of that with the John Velasquez interview, and then Mike Rapoli as well. So a full edition at the top of the hour, Racing Across America.
I think before Angel was his agent, was the baseball superstar Dick Allen his agent?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I mean, he's been in the game a long time, but I think he's on only his third agent. I could be mistaken. Yeah, they were generational. But I think Dick Allen was the first one. Time for the DePaul play of the day?
I think
so. Anything else? All right, the DePaul play of the day up next.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Silverado, just $3.99 a month. Yes, $3.99 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hello everybody, Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with the DePaula Play of the Day from beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We're going to be giving out Play of the Day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet, and thus far we've hit the board with 3 of our 4 selections to date and hope to keep the ball rolling today. Looking at race number 3, we're going to go with the number 7, Insignia. This Brad Cox trainee got the diploma down in Kentucky last time out, and what impressed us, it came when going 2 turns for the first time. Being a Curlin out of a Touch Gold mare, we feel that this one is going to enjoy going long on the dirt throughout the rest of her career. From a speed figure standpoint, Andy Byer would call this horse an omni-fig, as rare as the ivory-billed woodpecker, he would say, in such that both of her figures to date are better than anything any other horse in the race has ever posted. We can expect her to take some action at the windows for sure, but we'll take the easy money. That's our DePaula Play of the Day from Saratoga Race Course. Race number 3, number 7, Insignia.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week, celebrate with savings. Drive Equinox, just $2.59 a month. Yes, $2.59 a month.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Welcome back to Handicappers, I almost said Racing Across America. That'll happen like 5 times. Right? Handicappers Report on this Friday morning. Seth, Merrow, Anthony, Mormino, and I'll let you lead
Well,
into...
quick thing, you're going to have Mike Rapoli on, who is a wine person, and Kevin Cox's play of the day is Insignia, which when our son was born, about 5 years after it, I started collecting 2006 better end bottles of wine, and the first one that I bought was Joseph Phillips Insignia, which is obviously a regular common English word, so I'm not saying that person is a wine person, but there you have it. All right, 10 races today. It looks like we're supposed to be clear to go, right? Today is supposed to be a nice day weather-wise.
So, yeah.
So, and it's beautiful now. We actually have a little wind out here, very light. 3-year-olds and up, maiden special weights, open company on the dirt, going 1 mile and an eighth, and I would have full faith that it'll be fast at this afternoon's races.
I have a 5-7-3-1. The number 5 Sidekick goes out for Shug off a couple of nice starts so far. A couple of nice improving starts. It just seems like in the third start, off what we've seen in the last two, this horse moving in the right direction and set up to run very well this afternoon. Southern Flag going out for Bill Mott. Pulled up a stat for the Times-Union. Over the last 3 years, Bill Mott, second start off a layoff, going sprint to route 29%. Limited sample, 2 for 9, but 67 in the money. So we will see if this one improves off the seasonal debut. The seasonal debut just looked like a weird aberration, given the talent shown last year. But again, with those stats and what we saw last year, I'll tilt towards Southern Flag as being a player. And then Gate Runner in the third spot goes out for Todd Pletcher. Off, again, 3 nice starts. Last couple down at Churchill are certainly notable and play with this field, I would think. So for me, I have it 5-7-3-1.
Boy, I'll tell you, when I looked at this race, Seth, I was thinking that the 4 might be the only one I would toss out, except if this is the start of Orlando Noda Express train, he would be in the mix, because the other 6 to me, I could find something to like about all of them, and our 5, who I think the race goes to, because I agree with you, is the only one we have in common. My top pick is second time starter, who is the morning line favorite, number 2, Golden Alchemist, goes out for Chad Brown after a debut runner-up at 5-1. That was going 6 furlongs. Now, whatever the old days were, Seth, this would be a huge ask to go from a debut sprinting to going 9 furlongs on the dirt. And one thing I'll say about the dirt, the races on the dirt, on Saturday and Sunday, we saw the top flight 3-year-old fillies go, I think, 151 and change. And then the older filly or mares go, I think, 151 and change. My point is, the racetrack is not yielding fast times. I mentioned on yesterday's show that on Wednesday we had 5-6 furlong races, and not counting the stake, 4 of them went in 113 and change. That to me is very atypical for Saratoga. And then yesterday, what was it? The opener was 154.70, which I was surprised to learn wasn't in the top 10 for sure, wasn't even in the top 20 of slowest 9 furlong races. I mean, I was on a clear, fast racetrack. I was a little surprised, but this is a big ask, but I'm going to take Golden Alchemist on top. Sidekick to me is the horse to beat. Finished 3rd in the debut, runner-up going 1 mile, now tries 2 turns. And for 3rd, Bold Looker, Ryan Lynch's offspring of Arrogate, 2, 5, and 6 in a terrific opener.
Yeah, usually I'm on the Chad Brown. I wasn't quite convinced on that, which I may kick myself in.
Sometimes I'm just convinced in Chad Brown.
Yeah, exactly. Toss the number. Oh, yesterday, my man Mike Deeney.
I was
how did I not
laughing from ear to ear. Well, when we did the show, I even said your man Mike Deeney, you just let it fall to the earth.
Because I hadn't used the horse. So
I understand.
But then after the race, I went down and congratulated him. And,
of course.
And asked if he would come on this morning. He said he'd love to come on. We'll have him on sometime. But he was headed back out of town. But he said, catch me when I'm when you see me in the entries, give me a call the day before and we'll figure something out.
Of course, yesterday you might have wanted Dominic Schettino to be your man at about $40. But yes, he loves Mike Deeney. He got 9-2. I mean, he was playing.
All right. Second race at Saratoga today, Statebred Maiden Claimers, mile and a 16th on the grass.
10 in the main body, ladies and gentlemen. 8, 7, 9. David Donk sends out number 8 on Palm Sunday, making the third career start. Was beaten choice. Most recently, Irad Ortiz back in the saddle today. This will be the third start. Thus, all of them have been for the maiden claiming 40 tag, an offspring of Summerfront, who is a son of Warfront. For second, right next door in the starting gate, number 7, Looking Grand. Boy, Sugar Maple Farm set. That has to be, for me, in my mind, one of the longest, one of the most tenured New York bred owners operations I can think of. I like basically my entire adult life, I can, remember the Sugar Maple Farm. Charlie Baker sends out this runner, second time in for a tag, third start of the year, fourth career start. And for third, number 9, Highgate Road, Michelle Hemingway sends out this runner, first time in for a tag. Sharp on debut at Tampa, came back at about 1/6 the price and ran less well. Most recent effort was that April 24th. 8, 7, 9 in the second.
5, 9, 8, and 12 for me. But if the 12 doesn't get in on the 8, and it's too deep on the AE list, if that one doesn't get in, I'd pull in the 7. So we're very similar.
I didn't notice yesterday. How did your AE? Did you draw in with all that was going on yesterday?
Lady Jasmine, I liked it.
Oh, right. She was the competitive edge angle.
She did not draw in, unfortunately. But we'll look for her soon to get in the body. But media sensation on top for me. Dropped down to the maiden claiming tag in the last couple of starts, and it's been very competitive. Last time against Open Maiden 40, so I think it's set up to run well today for Tom Morley. Highgate Road. First couple of starts, I thought were first start certainly was, but the second start, it just continued maybe the progression of kind of gaining some experience and gaining it against a little bit better Open Maiden Specials at Tampa and Statebred Maiden Specials last time. I think the move into the Maiden 40 level is going to provide a little bounce for this one. And then on Palm Sunday in the third spot. Nice improvement start 1 to start 2. Dave Donk off to an interesting start to the meet. Nice fun start to the meet. And with this one being improved and perhaps improving and given Dave Donk's horses doing well at the meet, I think it all adds up to give serious consideration to on Palm Sunday as well. So again, 5, 9, 8, and 12. 12 doesn't get in. Pull number 7 into the mix.
And perhaps, if not his most intriguing, one of his next most intriguing horses up next. On to the third race. We have 3-year-olds and up. Fillies and mares, non-winners of 1 other than, going 9 furlongs on the dirt.
7, 3, 2, and 1 for me. Insignia, the aforementioned Insignia.
Yes.
Brad Cox trainee that won very nicely in start number 2. First couple of starts of the career were both pretty good. The debut down at Oak Lawn, that was from Ron Maquette. And then last time broke the maiden at Churchill. As the 2 to 5 favorite, did it in a fashion that says moving to this non-winners of 1 company is not going to be a big obstacle. It's always a little bit of a question mark, though, when they step into a new condition. So we'll have to answer the question. But as I say, the talent we've seen so far seems to indicate going to do it successfully or be able to do it competitively at the very least. Fingal's Cave in the second spot. Yes, this is the Dave Donk runner that is now 2 for 2 and broke through the non-winners of 1 condition last time. Why back in for non-winners of 1? It was Statebred non-winners of 1 last time. So it gets to jump into Open Company non-winners of 1 other than today. And with that record, the 2 for 2 record, having kind of gone through this condition on the Statebred side, Fingal's Cave will be the one to beat. Join the dots in the third spot. Tried Stakes Company last time on a sloppy track at Monmouth and didn't fare too well. But boy, the races prior seemed to indicate this horse will A, appreciate the return to the proper level, and B, should fit nicely with this group. 7, 3, 2, and 1.
What intrigues me about this race is, do you think it's highly probable that the New York bred 2X wouldn't fill for David on Fingal's Cave? Because you're going to lose that condition, right, if you win this race. And you wouldn't lose this condition if you won the New York bred 2X. And that's one of the times, there aren't many of them for me. I do think the trainer would be very apt to give you an honest answer. There's nothing to hide. If you just said, David, did the 2X not go? And you're obviously this horse is obviously that he's running in his first 2 races. He's in a good place right now, and you want to run because I don't know off the top of my head the 2X New York bred, but it's got to be $100,000 race, right?
I don't know. I was going to say.
You think it'd be a short price once again?
The reason may be they have a good horse. They get to try Open Company here, and they get to do it for $115,000. So
yeah.
The purse may.
My point is, I think he's maybe leaving $60,000, the 2X for New York bred on the table that he won't be able to go get.
Again, you get a shot at $115,000, potentially a win at Saratoga. You got a horse that's in really good form. I mean, I can see taking the shot.
Yeah, I mean, we both have them. We both have sort of this same thing, and it's 7-2-3 for me. Insignia. What I like is now the Mile 3/16 at Churchill Downs. It's not run very often, but we all kind of can see the field for the Derby. Just moving it. My point is he broke from the outside, but that's a pretty good run on the 1 mile oval on the dirt at Churchill Downs. Now at 9 furlongs breaking from the 7. At Saratoga, it's not so good. You have a chance of being stuck on the outside. Now, what I'd like to see Ricardo Santana do is what my old 45-degree angle ride, which is just let him go, take a 45-degree angle inside, don't get parked outside, and let the race come to you. It has appeared as if, especially these 9 furlong races, that it's extremely tiring. As I was saying the other day, Secret Oath to me looked like she was there for the taking. I mean, she was coming home, but no one could pick her up. And I just think if you have a good horse like Insignia, you're going to be able to pick up horses readily. And I have number 7 Insignia, my top pick. I have joined the dots. We've just changed. I'm going to add blinkers for Shug this afternoon. Dylan Davis gets to mount. He rode this horse 2 races back at this level, and then Fingal's Cave, who has been brilliant in the first 2 starts in the New York Bred program. 7-2-3. And we're up to our first break. When we come back, more live from the backstretch of Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These 2 outsiders have ahead with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the top. Here's the winner. Photo finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. Time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway in downtown Saratoga Springs. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse, and I always tout, swing down and enjoy a visit to Dark Horse and their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. You won't regret it. I have already talked to a number of people who have followed the tout, gone down and enjoyed their visit, and walked away with a little merch as well. Both stores in downtown Saratoga. So if you're headed up for the day, put them on your agenda. All right, the Dark Horse Play of the Day today. Yeah, I'll go back to yesterday. Ooh, top of the stretch. I thought we were going to get it done with Lost in Rome. We did lose a little of our value. I want to say morning line we were maybe 8-1 with Lost in Rome. Went down to, I think, about 9-2. Made a nice run down the stretch. We could do no better than second. About the 8th ball, I thought, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. But still, the dark horse, you're looking for a horse to hit the board, make a little money. And so there was a little place in show dough there with yesterday's pick, Lost in Rome. But today, 5-5. Race number 5, horse number 5, gut feeling, 5-1 on the morning line for the Owl Stall runner. It's been showing a little bit of talent. A couple of fourths in 4 starts, a couple of fourths that bookend a second and a third. They've all been against a little bit better. Started the career down at the fairgrounds against maiden 50 claimers. At Churchill, bounced up a little bit to maiden 75. I think it's going to fit squarely with this maiden 40 group today, and I think that's going to be very beneficial. Joel Rosario jumps on board, and it's just one of those where you look at the complexion of the rest of this field and what we've seen from this group so far. I do think gut feeling perhaps has a little bit of an edge on this bunch with the class drop. I'm going to be curious to see where the odds go because I think it's a competitive race. I think this one can go either way. But if we land on the 5-1, I'm perfectly happy with that too. So not a huge price, but if we get the morning line, we'll get double digits. We'll get a $12 mutual back, and so we'll take a little shot with that. In race number 5, horse number 5, gut feeling is today's dark horse play of the day. Now let's jump back to handicapping for this Friday card. Friday's 4th race today, state bred, non-winners of 1, 5.5 on the grass.
6-10-4 for me, and Bustin' Bullet for Mike Michelli is my top pick, making the 4th career start. Irad Ortiz rode this horse most recently. Double-digit odds, a good enough effort to move forward. That was going 6 down at Belmont Park. And by the way, we didn't mention it. Oh. No beautiful Belmont Park Fall Championship meet. Was that even a rumblings of that? I thought that came out of left field and just announced that they're going to run at Aqueduct.
There have been rumblings.
Okay, so I guess they're going to run at Aqueduct kind of like a San Anita. They're going to run for about 7-8 straight months at the Big A. There'll be no Belmont Park, an infield? A tunnel for the infield?
Yeah, putting in a tunnel, which kind of precludes racing.
Yes. I wish there was a tunnel here for racing. But Busted Bullet, back to this, is my top pick. Going 5.5, shortening up, has shown the ability to break well. As I said, I would be very hard-pressed to give up position, and I think Busted Bullet will get good position, and Irad Ortiz will go forward with that. Number 10, Tis a Pity, Christophe Clement, and Flavien Prat, making the 3rd start of the year, won a starter allowance, which I think day in and day out, Seth, I would be of the opinion those might be tougher than New York bred entry level allowance. Yeah. I think, which we didn't grow up with starter allowances in New York as a condition, but I think they can be some very tough spots. And for number 4, Blame It on Mary, goes out for Ed Barker. Just got beat at 15-1. I think that was the finale of Belmont Day. I forget. It's at 6-10-4 in the 4th.
I have your top 2 flip-flop, 10, 6, 12, and 8. I put Tis a Pity on top. Got through that starter allowance last time for Christophe Clement. And I think bodes well. That was the 2nd start of the season. A little bit of improvement to do that. Now the 3rd start back. And so I think it bodes well for a good performance this afternoon. Maybe strings a couple of wins together. Bustin' Bullet in the 2nd spot. Also stepping out of starter allowance. Didn't run particularly well that day. But that was the first strike out of the maiden ranks, and maybe benefits from that experience this afternoon. Kind of like that Irad Ortiz elected to stay on board. And then in the 3rd spot, Fontana Frida, the number 12 horse, another one making the 3rd start back this season. This one for Jim Bond. And again, I think looking at this horse, 3rd start back, being lightly raced, I'm looking for potentially a little blue sky from this horse and maybe a little bit of a move forward. I don't think that's out of the question. And if we do get just a little bit of a move forward, this one could be a little bit interesting at an 8-1 morning line price. 4th at Saratoga, 10-6, 12, and 8.
5th race on the card, open company, 3-year-olds and up, maiden claimers, in for 40 on the inner turf at a mile.
The aforementioned dark horse play of the day, number 5, Gut Feeling, is my top pick in here. 5, 10, 2, and 7. I will note, I have at the bottom of my mix, and I mentioned Good Soldier, the number 15. And I am very willing to put AEs into my mix up in the top 4 if they're 1 or 2 deep. This one is 5 deep. It would take kind of a miracle to get this one in. But I had to mention, if Good Soldier does by chance make it in, you have to take a serious look there. Mentioned already Gut Feeling, and again, the 5-1 I think is attractive here, and I think a little bit of a class drop moves this one forward. Second slot for me, Sweeping Giant. This is one of those, we've talked about him a little bit, talked about it with Steve Bick a couple of weeks ago on Loose on the Lead on Sunday. These horses that are lightly raced as 2-year-olds or maybe even lightly raced as 3-year-olds, get a break, come back as a 3-year-old, come back as a 4-year-old, and they can be improved. And I think that is not out of the question at all for a Sweeping Giant. Ran very well up here at Saratoga last year. The season ender in the stakes wasn't as much, but I'm going to go back to those maiden specials at Saratoga. I am concerned, otherwise I might have put this horse on top, but for 2 things. The 12 post going a mile is not a bonus. And also coming back for the tag, that left me a little cold as well. But I don't think you can ignore Sweeping Giant. And then a firster from Chad Brown and Calumet. Again, I might have rated this horse a little bit higher as well, but how enthusiastic can they be offering a horse up in debut for 40? But it is Chad Brown with a debuting runner on the turf up at Saratoga. Seabury, the Ray Handel runner, I think could also be a little bit of a player. I mentioned that because we're looking at 10-1. So for me in the 5th, 5, 10, 2, and 7.
All right, obviously I'll close. The question I would have for Gut Feeling and Al Stoll, who's a friend of the program and a wonderful person, they added blinkers in the last race, and it seems, according to data, that they're keeping them on. And the daily racing form lines indicate to me that, a nice experiment, but it seems as if the results without blinkers were maybe a little better. But Al's a terrific trainer. Now we're running for the lowest tag. This horse has always run for a tag in the 4 career starts. 50 a couple times, 75 a couple times. Now in for 40 with Joel Rosario in the saddle. That to me is serious intentions. For second, I have the first time starter Blueberry. I don't know how the math works. This is a homebred, so maybe it's less hurtful. You don't have to go out and buy it. And, obviously Calumet owns a lot of horses. They run a lot of horses. We draw inside. I thought that was a good advantage. And then remember, folks, if it is the mile on the turf, 10 is the maximum field size. And Seth mentioned Sweeping Giant. First time in for a tag is out there. But I would think with Irad that they're not going to get, I don't think they're going to be using early positioning speed. I think he's going to be able to drop over and get mid-pack someplace, and I would think at worst would be 3 wide. But a brilliant jockey, you probably can get a spot where he's 2 wide. But some intriguing angles also in here. I was thinking, if you want to take a flyer, Inspired Mischief might be where I would go for an absolutely wacky pick in here. Mad Magic, the offspring of Money's very intriguing to me. If it's not Sweeping Giant, who's 7-5 but drew the outside, the race, to me, is wide open. 5, 2, 10, even though that we match up, basically.
Race number 6, stake bred maiden special 2-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile.
10 in here, and I'm outwardly positioned. 7, 8, and 9. Acoustic Avenue, Reeves Thoroughbred Racing for Christophe Clement. We had a McLean's Music, I think, one yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was a Hero Del Mar. The work gets, it was the finale, right? McLean's Music, Cousin Andrew. I think I'm right. No, Cold Hard Cash, the 9th on McLean's Music. Talked about him as a stallion and his career, that one race. And you're kind of a fan, weren't you, when his first crop came out?
Oh, yeah.
I thought so. And two works back, just a bullet. I don't mention works very often, but a bullet for a juvenile going 4 furlongs when only 4 worked out. But I like the pace, and then they followed up with a sharp gate workout. Acoustic Avenue, my top pick. Number 7, Quick Chaos. Jorge Abreu sends out this runner for the 2nd career start. Now, they add blinkers after a 3rd place finish on debut at nearly 9-2. Offspring of Unified. And for 3rd, number 9, 10 Cent Town, making the 2nd career start. Beaten favorite on debut. 7, 8, and 9.
I have the 7 on top myself.
I saw that,
7,
yes.
10, 4, and 5. And I hadn't written down the stats because they were kind of funny stats for McLean's Music, but since you brought it up, I quickly pulled it up. And he is a good sire of win early types. This year, his stats are a little bit funny, though. 44 first-time starters this year, only 3 winners, but 13 second-place finishes, 7 thirds. So, 16 for 44 in the exacta, 23 for 44 in the try. So again, he's win early. This horse worked 10 flat before the Ocala sale. Dam's first full, so there wasn't much to find out there, but Christophe Clement can have him ready. So again, a little bit of breeding, nice workout before the sale. Christophe Clement, I tilted in that direction as well. Bobby the Tank goes out for Chad Brown. This one worked 10.1 before the Ocala sale. The Dam produced a sibling called Colonel Fred that was 4th, then 2nd, then 1. Anytime you get a win in those first 2 or 3 starts, I think that's win early, and clearly Chad Brown can have them ready. D's Speed Tray. Speed Tray? I have no idea, but by Outwork, and that's an interesting sire and of win early types. Didn't live up to it in the debut, but they had the blinkers today. Bolt d'Oro, the sire of shorts in the winter, and this horse absolutely had some trouble that may mitigate what we saw last time. And at 15-1, don't sleep on shorts in the winter. This horse could easily come back and improve off of that debut effort at a decent little price. So for me, 7, 10, 4, and 5.
And I don't know this because I haven't seen him in a while, but I might know one of the owners of the 10, Bobby the Tank. Haven't seen him in a long time, but he's a Capital District person, golfer, and things like that. Very interested. Bobby the Tank, who's 7-2 in the morning night for Chad on the outside. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, what do we got? The late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Varley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, up to race number 7. Comes to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. This is Claire Court behind us. He's Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino. The feature this afternoon.
And we are looking 1,000% better than opening day, I must say.
I got a haircut.
We now have the screen behind us. The lights have been moved. So
we've been moved. We were back there.
We
were in the bleacher seats on the first couple of days.
We have certainly.
The guys
took
have
us a while to
gotten
shake things out, but yeah, the crew put it all together, and now we have gorgeous with the horses.
It's beautiful.
A
couple years ago, they started this curling race, and we had Mike Welsh on for the Daily Racing Forum yesterday. We talked about it. I can see from the owner's standpoint, in owner, the curling is basically. Well, it is. It's for horses who haven't won a open sweepstake for this year. So, and you have to say fairly that it's a prep for the Traverse Stakes. I mean, you're running in this race, I think. And then we have the Jim Dandy tomorrow, which is the graded opportunity where you'd have better horses. So it makes sense that this race exists, but I think I think the obvious horses, would we agree that Creative Minister would be in the Jim Dandy tomorrow?
Without this race?
Yeah.
Probably 3 of these at least.
I was thinking at least 2 or 3 also, and that's that's the rub. The Curling ends up being a good race because of the conditions, and the entry box of the Jim Dandy, I think, gets hurt a little bit. But and I have to take a look. I wonder have we had a winner of the Curling win the Travers? I think we have. Something says to me, I want to say yes, but I don't know that.
Oh,
for
somebody
sure.
the other day was talking, and weren't sure.
VE Day?
VE Day.
The dead heat year, right?
When I was on the radio, maybe somebody brought that up, and we weren't quite sure. Did he win the Curling? But that.
Well, I will check it out as you.
Want me to jump in?
Well, I read the conditions. You get to go
8,
first.
9, 7, and 4. I'm going to put Be Better on top. Going to have Mike Rapoli on in a little bit, so I'll ask him what he and Todd think of this one. But certainly, I think this horse is set up to move into this stakes assignment very nicely off the first 3 starts. Again, that improving performance that I like to see. Debuted up here at Saratoga and ran
Ding,
third.
ding, 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 ding,
For
ding,
V
ding,
Day?
ding, ding. Yes, and ironically enough, never won again after the Travers, like 0 for 10 or 11. But VE Day, so we had the right kind of horse. That was the Dead Heat, right?
I think it was
Dead
the
Heat.
Dead Heat. Yeah.
Jimmy Jerkins.
Yeah, definitely Jimmy Jerkins. Centennial, I think, as well.
I think he
I
got
believe. But again, debuted up here at Saratoga, ran third, behind Jack Christopher, and then they laid off until this year. Came back a couple starts at Monmouth, broke the maiden, went through the allowance condition very nicely, and again, I think is well suited to this condition. So we will put Be Better on top. Arturius in the second slot for Chad Brown. Similar scenario, lightly raced, may have some real upside. Being a little more lightly raced, this assignment may be a little more of a question mark. I mean, Be Better doesn't have super more experience, 3 starts compared to 2, but 3 to 2 I think is a fairly big jump, and given what we've seen from Be Better with a couple of starts this year already and a couple of wins, I'll give a slight edge there. Arturius in the second spot. I put Creative Minister down in the third spot. The morning line choice, going to be interested to see how confident the betting public is in this one. And I won't be shocked if they're very confident, because Ken McPeak, understandably, had some real confidence in this one himself early in the career. Close up second, maiden breaker at Keeneland, a nice win and an optional non-winners at 1. And then they tried the Preakness and career start number 4, and ran decently behind early voting in Epicenter. The Belmont, not as good. I think that's going to darken the form a little bit. And again, that's why I wonder where the betting public will go. But I think what we saw just prior is probably enough to get a lot of action from the bettors. So, and clearly could wind up being the one to beat. I just thought the other 2 had maybe a little more upside potential and might be interesting in here. 8, 9, 7, and 4.
And by the way, with Mike Rapoli coming on, how good was Fearless yesterday? I know he was odds on. And there's no doubt that Luis Saez did not have to go to the gym this morning, because all the work he did on Fearless yesterday in the 1 3/4, $200,000 burst zone was enough.
Was it Craig Mikulski who tweeted out something to that effect? Like, I wouldn't want to be the guy riding that one, because I'd be in bed for the next 3 days. So it was some tweet like he really had to work.
Right, if you're not familiar with the way Fearless runs, you might have thought at the 5/8 pole you got no chance, because he's already been working him, and he wins easily. I'm 8, 9, 3. I looked at it the same way, that the horses on the come were more intriguing betting-wise to me than the horse coming out of the Classics, but I think they're all there. You see I have the 3, but to me, I agree. Be Better trying to make it 3 in a row. Arturius trying to make it running first time versus winners is a big ask in this field. And then just for a flyer, if I was getting away from Creative Minister, who I liked underneath in the Preakness, I'm going to AP Secret. So 8, 9, 3.
Race number 8 on Friday afternoon. Optional claim or non-winners of 2 other than. They'll go a quick 5.5 on the grass.
1, 5, 10 for me. I'm drawing the rail here with a horse with good speed, so I got to make the break with Irad Ortiz on the front end, the Wesley Ward runner. Wesley Ward had a winner out at Del Mar yesterday. Owner and trainer just beyond the engine go. 1 start this year at Keeneland was a victory as the chalk for second. Number 5, Anaconda. They had blinkers today. Joe Sharp gets Flavian Prat in the saddle for the first time. And for third, number 10, Chuck Williams goes out for Mark Cassie. Another horse who's shown good tactical speed early, gets the advantage of being on the outside with John Velasquez. 1, 5, and 10.
10-4, 11-1 for me. Chuck Willis on top. I kind of went back and forth in this race, and I just landed here. The races 2 and 3 back up at Woodbine were very good. Tried Stakes Company last time. Still ran pretty well. But again, those races 2 and 3 back just kind of jumped out at me. And so coming down to Saratoga, dropping in for the tag, I'm hoping we get back. And I think it's very possible we get back to those kind of races. And this horse will be very competitive on that. Fauci in the second spot. Nice close-up, second place finish last time. There are races down the page that are good and competitive with this group. So again, off the latest and what we see a little further down, I'll put that one in the hunt as well. And then I went out to number 11, Noble Emotion for Horacio de Paz. I looked at the Belmont to Saratoga move last year in the second start of the season. A very nice effort to win up here with a 91 buyer off a seasonal debut last year with an 87 buyer. Debuted this year with an 87 buyer. The finishing position wasn't as good, but again, I'll hope we get a similar scenario and a little move forward on the move to Saratoga in the second start of the season. Noble Emotion at 8-1, intriguing. 8th race for me, 10-4, 11-1.
You know, I think it's interesting about the Woodbine turf sprints. They're almost, to me, the antithesis of the Saratoga ones, because I think you can settle in their sprints. And now they're longer. They're usually 6.5 or 7. They have that, remember, the turf course on the outside. And I think there you can settle. I don't think you have that option, especially at Saratoga, going the 5.5. On to the 9th race, the aforementioned starter allowance condition, going 6.
3, 4, 9, and the 1A Life Changer on top for me. As I looked at this race, boy, I thought there was a lot of speed in here. You know, I always feel like you suss things out and you come up with these pace scenarios, and then one of the speeds goes out and everybody else goes, yeah, you go ahead, and takes them all the way around. But I just couldn't get past that. I think there will be some real speed in here, and I thought Life Changer had a little bit of a stalk and pounce possibility. Goes from the apprentice jock to Joel Rosario, and again, I'll look for this race to going into the far turn, have a few that are kind of duking it out, have this one maybe just sitting off of that and take a little shot at the top of the stretch. Quick to Blame also has a little potential stalk and pounce in him, so I'll again hope that's the scenario there. And again, we're hoping there is a little duel and things collapse up front a little bit. And then Baltazar in the 3rd spot. This is a horse with a little bit of positional early speed, should be up in the mix early, and you know, if things do fall apart but not completely apart and one of the speeds is still there at the end, maybe it'll be Baltazar in the 9th. 3, 4, 9 and the 1A.
You know, not only with our top pick, but we see the race unfolding similarly. It's hard to imagine that with a handful of front end horses that we can't get some type of engagement up front. And I know that's been the lack of pace battles up front has been the bane of public handicappers following Nairo for years. But this, you know, and you say it, and Seth, you're 100% right. Sometimes the one pops in, the rest just are like, instead of go get them, why should I sacrifice myself? But there looks to be too many options for early speed engagement, and I thought Life Changer is going to sit a very good trip with Joel Rosario, an extremely strong finisher of races, and John Terranova trains this horse. I think Life Changer gets the W. For second, On the Hill for Jimmy Bond, not in your mix, but I think of another horse who will benefit, but what I'm hoping is a little pace, multiple pace pressure, 3 or 4 wide, whatever you guys want to do. And for third, number 6, Street Culture. Linda Rice's runner won by a pole, breaking the maiden most recently. 3, 5, and 6.
Yeah, this is one of those races. Most races, the really intriguing part is the last 100 yards and then the last 5 yards to see if you won or not. But this is one of those where down the back stretch and into the far turn, it's going to be fun to see how it shapes up.
Because if it shapes up the wrong way, the types of horses we're looking at are at an extreme disadvantage. We'll take our final break. When we come back, the finale.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player? To have a better knowledge of the game? To be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Friday morning. During the commercial break, double-checked the early turf races are all on. The last turf race is still on, but it's been moved to the inner. So the 10th race will be on the inner turf. The 10th race today, starter allowance at the 50 level. I do also want to note, because I was reminded by Dino in the control room, if there is weather during the day, our dirt picks, you can go to the website, pull up the one sheet, but our dirt picks also on the crawl during the day. So should weather change, not just today, any day, the dirt picks are there as well. 10th race, starter allowance.
It'll be interesting to see if they hold the MTOs today.
Yeah.
5, 12, 8 for me. More mango. Not my favorite, but fruit, I should say, but sharp of late. And, I said I have basically tossed the idea, Seth, that they never come back. Something that, these animals now do come back. Sharp Barn here reaches out for Luis Saez. Won last year on the main by a nose with Jose Ortiz. I just think more mango at 12-1. And I mentioned these starter allowances are very tough. For a second, going far outside of the main body. Number 12, Mia at Midnight. Peter Walder's runner chips in from California out of the Phil D'Amato barn. Was sharp in turf races out there. Gives Saratoga a try. And for third, number 9, Radiant Gem. Comes off 2 consecutive wins. Is 8-1 for Steve Caceres and Johnny V. 5-12-8.
Put the 10 on top. I have a 10-12, and I have to admit, I'm not super thrilled to be in the outside post position. Maybe with the turf course move, it's even less intriguing. But built different on top, lightly raced. I think is going to be a nice fit with this group. Last time showed a little positional early speed, but they were kind of walking. So I jump into this race without a lot of confidence, but I'll tilt there. Jose Ortiz on board. Nice workout coming into this down at Monmouth, so I tilted slightly in that direction. Mia at Midnight, again, the outside post position is not a bonus. Comes east after a couple of races out at Santa Anita, but had been further down the page, Woodbine and Gulfstream, but off the Santa Anita races. Seems a little bit intriguing here, moving into the barn of Peter Waldern, working decently also. And then in the third spot, in my wake, second-time starter for Christophe Clement off a maiden breaker in the debut. Numbers a little light, but I wouldn't be shocked to see this one move forward a little bit. Just wanted to mention during the commercial break, there was a commercial for our friends at Bonaventure. We had Dan Collins on yesterday. Oceans Reserve ran great for them, and at the top of the stretch I thought this is a done deal as Oceans Reserve spurted away and just got run down late. Boy, that's hard luck. We showed the 2 replays with Dan yesterday of the horse just missing down at Belmont.
Jeez.
And then yesterday as well, but we'll be rooting going forward. Brendan's War and surprise payoff and more from Bonaventure. Now, they had pulled out down the second place purse, so that was okay too.
All right, up next will be John DeSilva with his Del Mar Play of the Days.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.
Good afternoon, racing fans. John DeSilva for Capital OTB with your Del Mar play of the day. Now, today we're going